What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and if you've heard me talk on this channel about No Time to Die, you'll know that I'm hesitantly excited about it, even with some of my misgivings about some of the people on staff and some of the statements that came out before this film. I'm a huge James Bond fan, and I've actually really enjoyed Daniel Craig's time as James Bond. He's not my favorite Bond, probably not the guy I would have cast, but as far as the movies he has been in, I think are really solid, with the exception of Quantum of Solace, that is trash. But Casino Royale is one of my favorite movies of all time. But now you can see here this Bounding into Comics article. James Bond star Daniel Craig admits Donald Trump will be a focus in upcoming No Time to Die film. And it's like as soon as I try to get over one little thing, another thing pops up about this movie that makes me worry about it. Now, at first, it was the fact that Phoebe Waller-Bridge was going to be a part of this, and then it was going to be focused on the Me Too movement, if you guys remember hearing that she was going to change the way that Bond interacts with women for current day. Let's just take a look at some of the headlines about Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the writer of this. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I was not hired because of my gender. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, James Bond is absolutely relevant now, but the film has to treat women properly. And of course, when she was first hired, a Me Too makeover for James Bond. Fleabag star Phoebe Waller-Bridge is drafted in by producers to meet Daniel Craig and work on a new film script. Of course. So that's what initially made me hesitant about this movie. Then the first trailer came out. I kind of forgot about it a little bit. I said, well, maybe they can just do it really well. Maybe they're going to ignore all that stuff. Maybe they're just going to make a good movie. Then, it's getting close, and it gets delayed due to coronavirus. Now, it gets delayed 7 months back to November. However, there's rumors that maybe it has a little more to do with reshoots and script issues. That is just a rumor at this point, not confirmed in any way, shape, or form, but it does just make you think about it a little bit. Now we have this. So let's get into this James Bond, Daniel Craig interview. That's what everybody wants to hear about, right? Is current day politics in their movies. You don't want to, you're just going to date the movie. Is people watching this 5 to 10 years from now even going to understand what message you're trying to send? I don't know. James Bond star Daniel Craig confirmed that the upcoming No Time to Die production will include references to Donald Trump. Yes. Yay. You immediately want to alienate half your audience. Great job. Craig spoke with GQ magazine, which is more than likely was to promote the upcoming Bond film before it was postponed. He told them, we struggled to keep Trump out of this film, but of course it's in there. It's always there, whether it's Trump, Brexit, whether it's Russian influence on elections or whatever. It's always there. We couldn't not make a movie about that. Of course you couldn't. Now, and listen, James Bond movies historically have dealt with some global socio-political issues before, when you think about the Cold War and Soviet Russia and things like that. But this is a different era, and to expect that they're going to have some regular view of this and not make it seem like if Trump's going to be in this film, it's just going to be an absolute bashing of him. If Brexit's going to be in this film, we know what side they're going to be on. I feel like they would struggle doing that. Craig didn't stop there. He went on to comment about Brexit and described it as a sort of nihilism. There are British people working in top industries, and the top of those industries. We can do that, we're good at that. And somehow we're sort of breaking all that apart. Whether that's breaking from Europe, there is a sort of nihilism, isn't there? Craig then described how he sees James Bond. And listen, I wished most of the article would have been about this. It'd be interesting to get his perspective on James Bond as a character. This is a kind of unique answer right here. There's something I feel that Bond represents. Someone who's there trying to do a job, doesn't want any effing publicity, and there's a joke because he drives an effing Aston Martin, does all these ridiculous things, but these people exist. It's the ambulance service. I know it's terribly kind of romantic, but they are people who are just getting on with it and saving people's lives. And I think that's a unique perspective. I wish he would have talked about that more. Guess what? When an actor sits down to talk about a movie, I want to hear about the character that he's playing. I don't want to hear about real world politics. And I think a lot of people are the same way. Here's a picture of Daniel Craig with no shirt, unbuttoned pants, and a corded phone. I don't know why, but that's GQ. Craig then despairs how Donald Trump and Boris Johnson conduct themselves, but that's not the way the world works now. It's about humiliating others to save one's own skin, and it's cowardly. It's just effing cowardly. Again, I don't care where Daniel Craig stands politically. The problem is if I think he's going to let those politics interfere with this movie. And you look down here, and it looks like it will. Not only does Craig admit that No Time to Die will have a focus on Donald Trump, but he also details that he was more heavily involved in the writing of this film. He says, "I've kept my mouth shut before and I've stayed out of it and I've respected it and I've regretted." So it sounds like he's going to let his emotions and his political beliefs get involved in this movie. And that's what we all want, right? As fans, can't wait. And then here's some quotes from some of the other people involved. Writer Phoebe Waller-Bridge. "He is incredibly passionate about the work. Bond is very close to his heart and he fights for the integrity of the character every step of the way." The director says this, and I love this part, and I do think that one of the reasons Bond was so burnt out, or Craig was so burnt out on Bond, is because how hard he works on set. Daniel's very adamant that Bond is the driving force in everything. He is the jackhammer. He is tireless. He will work until he's basically crawling home. And I think that's really cool. I respect that about an actor that does that. But what I have a hard time respecting is when all these people in the filmmaking industry just want to tell us all their opinions on politics instead of just make something entertaining. Because again, if you do that, you're going to alienate so many people right off the bat that maybe don't see things quite like you do. Maybe there's, half the population might see things a little bit differently. Obviously, Daniel Craig's not American, but he's talking about Boris Johnson, who was elected over in the UK as well. So you're automatically going to split a lot of people when you start making things about that. And I just don't think that's the best way to go about making a movie. And again, I want this film to be really great. I want Craig's last outing as James Bond to be awesome. And we'll see. The more and more we hear about it, the harder it is to stay excited about this movie. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Daniel Craig's stance on Bond, on Brexit, on all this stuff? And would you rather they just make a badass movie? Let me know in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.